Welcome to the Smith & Bug Forge. Although you can see we're not at the forge today. Today we are making a box. A box for something we forged the other day. Yeah, the other day we made some skewers. Today we're making a box for those skewers. It's going to be a very simple box. No detailed joinery, no mitering. All square corners, square sides. Very simple. Anybody can do this. So we're marking out those boards, and yeah, these two are a little bit fatter on one side than another. So we're gonna put them in the vise, take a plane to them. We're gonna take us down to that line and make them all same. This is the top and the bottom. So we're starting on the fat side. We're going to work our way back to the skinny side. This planing can take a while. It's a good time to reflect on your life, I suppose. Think about all the things that got you to where you are, where you want to be. But soon enough, you'll be done with it. Make sure all your corners are square, your sides are square. Everything will line up nicely for you. Now, once our two tops and bottoms are done, we can work on the sides. And so here we are marking out a board right down the center. We want to mark it on all four sides, front, back, top, bottom. And once we got all those marked up, we're going to slip it here in the vise and we're going to go ahead and cut it. It would be a lot easier if you had a table saw. Alas, I do not have a table saw, so we're using a hand saw. I guess the advantage is, if you started with 10 fingers, you're probably going to walk away with 10 fingers. It takes a little bit longer, but keep at it. Soon enough, you'll be through. Main thing here is you want to make sure you keep a good eye on the front and the back side so that you can stay on course and don't get offline. Pretty soon, you'll have two pieces. Once you come to the end, you take it apart. You see you got two pieces now. They're going to be a little rough on in there, so just slip it back on in the vise. Grab your plane, smooth it out. And again, you want to make sure that everything is the same. Both your pieces have the same dimensions. You want to make sure everything is squared up so that nothing's leaning, nothing's crooked. Your box comes together nicely. We're going to do a little touch up here on these two top and bottom pieces just once again to make sure that everything fits nicely. We were pretty close before, but just a hair off, so not a big deal. Just grab a plane, slide it down there a few times. Main thing here is making sure that your grain orientation on the two boards going the same way. You look at the end grain on there. This is probably a good time for me to mention that for this particular box, I'm using some leftover pieces I had of pine from a ceiling that I put up. It's real nice material, almost no knots, but you know, sometimes you got to work with what you got. Now we're gonna do our little end pieces. So we marked those out. We're gonna cut them. Now, important note here that would be helpful for you is if you mark which one is supposed to be the piece you want to keep. Because I ended up having to cut this twice because I didn't do that and I cut out the wrong side. So again, not a big deal, just made it take a little bit longer. Smaller pieces can be a little fiddly to try and clean up with a rasp or anything like that. It's pretty easy to knock off some corners. So instead of using something like that, I use something a little less aggressive. I use that 4-in hand right there. That worked pretty well. Now we're going to start to assemble the box. Make sure everything looks good, lines up well. And you're going to notice I don't use any glue on this. Well, I just didn't happen to have any. I think it'll be all right. We're going to drill a pilot hole I'm going to put a nail in there, and these nails that I'm using do have some shanks on them, so they should hold just fine for this purpose. It would be better with glue, but if you don't have it, you can do it. You'll survive. You do want to knock those nail heads, though, down below the surface so that they're not sticking up. Give you a nicer finish, and they won't scratch things up. This box isn't going to ever be under tremendous pressure, so I'm just putting in 4 nails on each of the sides. Now right here is a safety note. Watch your fingers, because yep, just nailed that one. But you know what? It's okay. We've all had blood blisters before. Not a big deal. With our sides, or little end pieces I should say, it's really important on these ones to make sure that you do a pilot hole. If you don't, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to split. Alright, so now we're going to get some hinges on there, and unfortunately that's all we're going to put on today because I could not find a clasp that would fit. Everything was just a little too big. So we're going to do a little shopping around for a clasp, probably on Amazon or something. But after you put your hinges on, clasp on if you got one, before you go to the finishing stages, you do want to make sure you knock off all your hard edges, corners, give it a good sanding, and then we go to the finish. In this case, I'm just using a torch, giving it that burnt finish. I sure like that. It looks beautiful, and it's so easy. Anybody can do this. You don't have to buy any chemicals, any kind of lacquers or stains, anything like that. Don't need no skills, just keep the thing moving. Keep it moving so you don't overburn any area, but yeah, that's probably the easiest way to finish something. You still want to give it some kind of coating afterwards, and I think for this piece we're going to use some butcher block conditioner, because this is going to be used for food goods, keeping the skewers in. We want something food safe, so I'm going to use some butcher block conditioner, and that'll give us some water protection. Now we're going to give it, we're going to shave some of this mahogany here with the plane, and we're going to put that into the box with the skewers, and this is going to give it a nice presentation for the person who's going to receive it. Also helps stop things from bouncing around too much as it's being transported. But there you can see what it looks like. And so we're going to put those wood chips in there. If you've ever shaved mahogany, or if you have never shaved mahogany, ooh, let me tell you something, that stuff smells good when it's freshly shaved. So if you were going to do this for somebody, you wouldn't want to shave it too long before you give it to them, because that smell will go away, but it sure is nice. Anyways, I thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you found it interesting, or maybe even helpful. If you did, you know what to do. You know, make a comment, hit that like button, subscribe, whatever you like. Thanks again.